New York, 1987. An amateur videotape surfaced, telling a story that still haunts paranormal investigators to this day. It is the story of Tina, a 17-year-old girl from New York, whose death remains an inexplicable mystery. My name is Elara. I am a clairvoyant, and I made contact with her spirit. Today, I'm going to tell you what really happened to Tina, using the images she was able to show me from the other side. The tape begins with Tina in her bedroom, filming herself with a new camera she received for her birthday. She was full of life, smiling, talking about her plans for the future, college, travel, all the things she dreamed of. She looked like an ordinary, happy teenager, bright and full of hope. Little did she know that it would be the last night she would ever see herself alive in the mirror. The next morning, the camera is still recording, resting on her bedside table, but the image is shaky, as if someone had bumped into it. Tina is in bed, but something is wrong. She sits up abruptly, breathing hard. She tells the camera she had the most horrifying nightmare of her life. She dreamt she was at her own funeral. She describes the dream in chilling detail. Her mother crying, her father inconsolable, her school friends holding flowers. She dreamed she was lying in a coffin, wearing her favorite blue dress, unable to move or scream. She could hear everything, feel the sorrow in the air, but she was trapped inside herself. Trying to shake off the feeling, Tina gets up to start her day. She walks to the bathroom, but when she looks in the mirror, she screams. Panicking, she runs back to the bedroom and tries to grab the camera, but her hand goes right through it. That is the moment the truth hits her. She is no longer alive. She screams for her mother, but her voice produces no sound. She watches her mother enter the room, eyes red from crying. Her mother doesn't see her. Instead, she walks to the bed, touches Tina's lifeless body, and breaks down sobbing. Tina was dead, and the nightmare was real. The following days, the camera continues, recording intermittently. We don't know how, but Tina's spirit seems able to turn it on and off, maybe through sheer anguish. She shows us fragmented scenes of her new existence. We see her devastated family, the paramedics arriving and declaring her death. The cause, unknown, sudden death in her sleep. A tragic, inexplicable event, according to them. But for Tina, it was the beginning of an endless nightmare. She shows us her own funeral. It is exactly as she dreamed. The same blue dress, the same flowers, the same tears. She floats through the church, invisible to everyone, screaming that she's there, begging them not to bury her. But no one hears. She is trapped, a spectator of her own tragedy. The camera, somehow taken along with her belongings, continues to capture these moments from her ethereal point of view. After the funeral, Tina returns to her home, now a silent, sorrowful place. She becomes a ghostly observer of her family, trying to cope with her loss. She desperately tries to communicate. She focuses all her energy to move an object, make a sound. On the tape, we see a glass in the kitchen tremble lightly. Small things easily dismissed as drafts or an old house settling. But for Tina, those were screams for help. She doesn't understand how she died. She was young, healthy. There was no apparent reason. And the question consumes her. She begins to relive her last night, searching for a clue. She watches the early recordings of herself, happy and excited. Nothing unusual. Then she remembers something she didn't film. That night, before going to bed, she heard a strange noise coming from the basement. Curious, she went down to check, but she didn't bring the camera. That was her mistake. Through my connection with her, I was able to see what happened. In the dark basement, she found an old box that belonged to her great-grandmother. She had never opened it. Driven by impulse, Tina opened the box. Inside was an old journal and a small silver locket with a dark stone in the center. She picked up the locket. The moment she touched it, a cold shiver ran through her body. She thought it was pretty, and without a second thought, she put it around her neck before returning to bed and falling asleep. Now, as a spirit, she understands. The locket was the cause of everything. She guides us, through the camera, back to the basement. The box is there, open. The journal, too. She tries to turn the pages toward the camera. The words are faded, written in old-fashioned handwriting. The journal tells the story of her great-grandmother and the cursed locket. Apparently, the object promised to grant the deepest desire of whoever wore it, but demanded a terrible price: the person's life. Tina's deepest desire, one she may not have even realized she had, was to know how much her family and friends loved her. And the locket granted her wish in the cruelest way possible, by making her witness her own funeral. At the end of the tape, we see Tina's spirit floating in her room. She seems to have found a kind of peace with the truth, as terrible as it is. She looks at the camera one last time. The image distorts and we hear a whisper, faint, chilling, "Don't forget me." Then the tape cuts to static. Tina's family never knew about the tape or the true cause of her death. They found the locket on her bedside table and kept it as a keepsake, unaware of its curse. The tape was found years later when the house was sold. Tina's story is a dark reminder that there are forces in this world we do not understand, and some mysteries are better left unsolved. Her spirit, I believe, still wanders that house in New York, waiting for someone to finally hear her story. Thank you for watching. If you believe in stories like Tina's, subscribe to the channel for more investigations into the unexplained.